Next month, friends, I have a special guest flying in who is a costume designer. And so please, please, please comment below with any questions you might have for her. I'm not sponsored by her. She does not know you from Adam, so she will give you a straight up honest, unbiased answer. For example, oh my gosh, my underarm skin sags. What can I do with the costume to hide this? Oh my gosh, I have back fat. What can I do about it? It doesn't require me losing 50 pounds. When I look at my comp videos, my left side is dropped. Is there anything I can do with my costume to kind of camouflage this until I can actually master the technique to not drop that side, etc. So please comment below with your questions because she is flying in, so it's not someone I can have as a guest interviewee on my channel every week, okay? Ask me now. Okay, next up. When I was going up the comp ranks, I was really so envious of those dancers that got to be sponsored. I'm like, how did they get their costumes for free? How do I sign up for that? And guys, so the reality is for all of these designers, their number one goal is just to have a financial benefit for themselves. They are running a business. They are not running a charity. They are not going to sponsor you just because you have a pretty face, or because you're a nice person, because they're your friend. They're going to sponsor you because you have some sort of ability to resell those costumes, okay? And so I'm sure for those of you in competition, which is most of our friends here on this channel, you have seen really the elite level, like world finalists. Some of your national finalists are also going to be sponsored. In terms of the leads, it's really easy to see because they will have like a logo patch on their costume. But for the follows, sometimes they don't have the patch. And honestly, guys, that is my preference. And ultimately, I was sponsored by someone and they never made me wear a patch, never even asked me to wear a patch. Thank heavens, because it's personally, maybe I'm old fashioned. It's not my favorite. Although, you know what? If you need to wear a patch to get a free costume, I would take advantage of that, guys, because heaven knows they are expensive, okay? And so I have an ugly story for you. I have a friend who is a very well-known company that does dance sport gowns, and they sponsored the I won't even say what season because I don't want to out them. One of the seasons of Dancing with the Stars, the costumes. So they agreed to provide all the costumes for that season in exchange for some sort of advertising benefit, okay? And so that is a lot of costumes, guys, because you have to create a new costume for every single competitor that makes those callbacks every week. I haven't even done the math, but that is a lot of gowns. And guys, as you know, these things are not cheap to make. Set aside the fabrics, set aside the time investment. They're going to pay someone to sew that thing. To think about the rhinestone cost alone. Okay, so they are dropping big dollars into this investment. This is alleged, what I'm about to share with you, because I did not personally see the contract. In fact, I don't even know if they had a contract. And if they didn't, bad on them. But the show removed the labels from the costumes allegedly and did not mention them in the credits. They got zero advertising benefit for this. And although this company is still in business, that snafu, that disaster nearly put them under, okay? So horrible. So just know going in, it's not going to be a charity. They really do need to get some sort of benefit from you, okay? Now, something you might not see flagrantly in your face, but it is common. If you, as the pro, have a substantial clientele that's willing to buy those costumes. So that's how I ended up getting a sponsor. So as soon as I turned pro, I actually very quickly cultivated a big competition posse. pro-am and many amateur couples that would show up together to these NDCA, like well-attended comps, and they all had their studio jacket on, so everyone knew they were associated with the Ballroom Dance Company. So at that point, I had several people reach out to me that wanted to sponsor me. Now, that doesn't mean they just want to give me gowns to go compete in. They give me a gown, and in my case, I didn't get a limitless supply. You know, I got one gown at a time, and when it resold, I would get another gown. Fortunately, you know, my students did pick them up right away. And for the record, I never once solicited my students. I didn't encourage them to buy my costumes. That just felt dirty to me. They can go wherever they want, okay? But they would see me, you know, on the comp floor or in a local show wearing that costume, and they immediately wanted to buy it. As a matter of fact, even though I don't think this was the Grandmaster Evil plan of the designer, I went to a comp where another coach saw the costume I was wearing, and they bought it right off of me there. They paid cash. They went home with my costume. And of course, I gave all that money to the designer. But, and yeah, if you're sponsored, you don't get to keep the money. You're not paid to be sponsored. Your sponsorship is in getting free Super Dance shoes or getting to temporarily borrow a beautiful new costume that is custom tailored for you, okay? You're not going to be paid for that privilege, okay? And related to this, you don't have to be a world finalist to be sponsored. If you can churn over gowns, chances are you can get a sponsor. Okay, third thing I've seen, and I don't like it, but frankly, as soon as I opened a ballroom dance studio, and as you know, I ran and owned the largest ballroom dance studio in the United States for about 15 years. As soon as I opened that bad boy, I had 3 costume designers come to me they weren't offering to sponsor gowns or give me costumes. They wanted to give me a financial kickback. Hey, if you refer a student to me and they buy a gown, I'll give you 25% of that cash. Okay, mama not interested. That just felt all sorts of shady to me. That being said, if your pro is strong-arming you into buying from a certain designer, or they're not giving you several options, or even worse, guys, I have seen pros require their students to take purchase all of their costumes from one designer. That is real sus to me. And that's up to you if you do it, but even if they put the hardcore pressure on you, you do not have to. That is your money. That is your costume. I personally said no to any of those type of sponsorships, not only because it just felt really dirty to me, but also I didn't like their costumes, frankly, and I'm not going to have my students go out there and look like idiots on the floor. A good costume is really integral to you getting good marks, especially when you start competing in those open categories for prime and those scholarship events for amateur, novice, pre-champ, championship. You got to play every card you can. And in my opinion, the costumes that they were making looked extremely amateurish, even though they were ballroom dance competitors. I don't know where their head was, but one of them, reminded me of like something they'd bring off the shelf in a department store and just put some rhinestones on in a crummy way. The other one looked like skating, like as an ice skating costumes. They just didn't look right, didn't look professional, and so unfortunately, this kind of stuff does happen, and just be aware. Your pro's probably not doing that, but just proceed with caution if they're strong-arming you into taking with one person. So again, if you have any questions for a costume designer that's coming from someone that is not biased and trying to give you some sort of hard sell, please comment with your questions below, and I will ask her when she comes for her interview. Okay, guys, thanks for joining me today. If you like all things ballroom dance, hit that subscribe button. We are a worldwide community of ballroom dancers. Most of us here competitors, but not all. And if I've left something off today that you think is important, or you disagree with something I've said, hey, comment below. I don't delete those comments. I am ultimately just one person. Although I've had a lifetime of experience in this industry, you know what? We all have unique experiences and learn from each other, and at a minimum are entertained by each other's stories. So thanks for joining me. I look forward to seeing you first thing in the morning. Happy dancing, guys. Bye.